and moves were made. Hands were shook, money exchanged hands, possibly drugs. But it was all good. It was all in the name of fantasy football.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dynasty. Like I said, we all see things differently.
Put it on his shirt. I
Yes,
just
they do.
drank what tasted like a root beer, but now I'm feeling kind of tipsy.
Judges,
Yes.
judges.
Yes.
So
We're good like that.
ride that unicorn, my friend.
I was really going to do an awful Mexican accent, but I realized how mad I'd be at someone else for doing that. So, hi.
We all are very intrigued and very interested in what will happen this year.
What's up, footballers? Football dudes,
What's up, ball dudes?
ball guys, guys who like watching other guys touch balls.
Dudes who like balls and feet. I mean, football.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna talk about burly men gripping balls.
Like, only a few of them grip the balls.
Yeah,
Like, the minority of the team grips the ball.
that's true. That's true. And arguably, the least burly dude does the majority of the ball gripping.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, he's the primary ball gripper.
You know what? That's true. That's true. That's true. I just, for some reason, I went straight to, like, tiny slot receivers in my mind, and I'm like, Roethlisberger is way more burly than,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he's huge, but he's...
like Wes Welker is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the majority of the quarterbacks in the league are not like...
Right.
I mean, they're specimens that we like to look at when they amass stats for our teams, right?
Right. We don't need to get, like, super weird right off the bat.
Why not?
We're already weird enough with, like, the disc golf one.
I mean,
mean-
I don't really see a problem with
That's
sexualizing
fine.
the
That's
game
fine.
that we love.
So what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the Dynasty, or do you want to talk about our new league that we are entering?
Let's talk about the Dynasty, because Pete is a douche-asaurus,
That's true.
and he's been, supposed to have interviewed you like 11 times now.
And he
So
doesn't want to come hang out.
So I believe I am tasked with that at this point.
Oh, good.
So, Joe, future president,
Oh, yeah.
once in future president. I guess not once, because now it's just going to be your first time.
It'll be my first time. It'll probably be a couple years.
No.
Like, it'll probably be a couple years.
No. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen.
I mean, I feel like you could still win the championship, and I would just have to do poorly
Yeah,
to lose the presidency.
there's definitely a situation in which you could not win the championship and still be president.
Well, I mean, the only way, I think, is if it's you and I do poorly. Like, I think any other scenario, if you don't win,
Yeah.
like, for sure, even if I don't win, I think as long as I make playoffs,
I think you're right.
like, I'm still president.
Yeah.
There's a pretty healthy gap there because the
forever points.
forever points, right? So, forbid shithead wins again.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
also there's 2 years of absolute
Shit,
nothing.
what do you? First of all, let's get right into that, because what are you going to do about our shithead? Like, what's the point
Dude,
of
I don't
having
even
a
know.
shithead?
I don't even know. I don't even, right? There's like, why have
like,
anything?
I get that there's the anti-authority people. Like, he's just like, well, I like having fun, but I don't like people power tripping, in Slack. But like, what's the point of having a shithead
right.
and an order
Right.
if nothing fucking matters and it doesn't?
Right. Well, and I think there's a commissioner that should, in my mind, there should be some sort of sanctions. Like, if you're not going to do, like, if he deems it a good rule, as long as he's not like, whoa, that's over the line, which
Yeah.
I think he will be a good gauge of, the almighty God Elliott. There should be like a penalty fee or something.
But we don't know what that can be. Like,
Well,
we
let's
we
think
try to
about
come
it.
up with creative things for people to do, and they just fucking dick off and do whatever they want. So
I think every time you are given a task by a superior and you don't do it, you like amass a $2 penalty.
something. But like, I tried to take worthless Gedeliot points from people, and I couldn't even do that. So how are we going to take money from them?
Well, because money has a worth.
Well,
And
I know, but like
ultimately the Get Elliott points go to this like weird hierarchy thing, and why not just leave that alone? But I think the easy task, like videotape yourself pounding a beer and send it to us. You have a day to do it, and if not, like you get a $2 sanction,
a virtual spanking.
I feel like real money. I say every time you don't.
If we can't take Get Elliott points, you can't take money. There's no way. There's no way Elliott will allow money being taken if he won't allow you to take Get Elliott points.
But but the thing is with Get Elliott points, ultimately that can have influence on the money if you take enough away or give points away, whatever. Like that can influence the hierarchy, whereas money will have no.
But the hierarchy doesn't result in money. It just.
But it could.
Just results in.
But it could.
It really results in nothing.
Right. Right. And it's just, I don't know.
But I do recall there was an episode where, since Tim wasn't drinking, that he had to take a shot of Tabasco. And he did not enjoy that at all.
That was great.
And I think that's definitely got to come back, because if he's going to miss the draft and like the main punishment that was handed down to him from the both of us, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't care. Like, fuck you, Tim.
Yeah. I don't. It's just it's no fun.
And like the I've got these responsibilities, guys. You don't understand. Like, I can't just skip a bit. We have children, Tim.
And wives.
We have wives and
right.
jobs. We understand what responsibilities are. Man up and do something about this.
Or like, I'm sure your baseball schedule was released when we were putting these dates together. I'm sure it was released at that point, and you could have looked at the schedule and said, hey, you know what, that date doesn't work for me.
Also, did winning the league this year make you more money than your baseball job? Because that might be possible.
I don't know. It's like, is it just about money? Like, if it's just about money, then that's pretty weak. It turned into a really fun thing maybe 2 years ago. It was super fun. Last year was hit or miss, but with, it just being...
Well, we had some tantrums last year, too, about a lot of different things.
Totally. Yeah, that's true.
So...
But mainly I want it to be fun, and I want to make some money. But, I mean, do we just put way more money on the line so people care more? Or will they care less and dip out? That might be really what happens.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. So what do you...
Basically, I'm mainly disappointed in Tim.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like everyone else has anything that's been like rained down on them, they've taken in stride. The Maddle, there was definitely an awesome beer bong at a camping trip.
I
that
100%
was paid in
agree.
full. Maddie had videos of chugging beers and vice versa. Like, I've put videos, like, everyone was doing those pieces, but, when you're upset because you sucked for 3 years and then finally you did something well and you feel like you're above everything else, I'm not into that.
Yeah. It's a bummer. But, that's what he wants to do. That's his prerogative, and we can't really do anything about that.
Nope.
Except Tabasco shots.
Well, and win. Well, I don't even care. I honestly, for the most part, I don't even want to... I almost just don't want to even talk to Tim about that side of things at all. Like, I don't even want to be like, pick a Tabasco shot, do this, do that. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'll deal with everyone else because everyone else is fun.
Yeah.
And he's just not fun anymore.
That's a good point.
And I almost feel like that's the ultimate punishment, is you just don't get to be a part of the fun anymore because you're not willing to, when it's people laughing at you instead of with you for those small moments, then screw it. Like, you don't get to be a part of the laughing with us either.
I like it. Shun the shithead.
I mean, unless you're gonna, sack up and do what's right.
You're standing at a moral crossroads, Tim.
Totally.
Of whether you want to be a man or whether you want to take your ball and go home.
Right. I mean, do you just want it to be a money league for you that you just put some time into and it's not a social fun thing with friends, like that's cool, but then just say it and live it that way. Like the rest of us, I know for sure are here to have fun and also maybe make some money or have some bragging rights or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck around.
Right. Do podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, cool. I'm in. That's why fantasy football is great. But if it becomes like, I'm doing this for the money, it's like,
I don't think he's doing it for the money. I think he's just got his priorities crossed a little bit, you know?
yeah.
And is certainly capable of more than he's doing, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like you can add a little bit more fantasy football into that schedule and still be fine.
Right. And I kind of feel like
Really, I'm
if I were in his shoes, I'll just say this. If I were in his shoes, and I kind of was. I wasn't really, but I went from no playoffs to a championship. Like, you got to take the good with the bad. It's fun to talk shit. It was fun for me for 2 years to be like reigning champion, like I'm going to beat everyone, I'm the best. But you can't do that if you're not willing to take the other pieces.
yeah.
Like, the shit talk just doesn't matter if you're not willing
don't
to
think-
take it when
Has there been
you were
Tim shit
losing.
talk?
There hasn't been.
I haven't seen Tim shit
No,
talk.
but that's I'm saying.
I
That's
just-
like the fun part, and I'm happy there's not because it's not deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in the sense that he won, but not in the sense of like paying your dues to get there and to be able to talk shit.
So, I mean, in summation of your kind of initial question point of what you do with Tim, you're basically just saying he's a terrible person.
No, he's a great person, but as far as fantasy football goes, unless things change, like I'm done with him in that sliver of our relationship.
You're going to, like, unfriend him on Facebook or something?
No, totally friends on Facebook, but if there was a way to be friends like in like the Yahoo app, I probably would be like, nah, it's cool.
So just to be clear.
If he was like, I want to send you a message, I'd probably be like, nah.
Yeah, no. So just to be clear, you and Tim are not friends.
We're very good friends,
Got
but
it.
I do this is actually, let me take a full step back. Tim, sack up. Everyone wants you to. I am not alone in this. Although I'm saying the most, I am not alone in this battle, in this struggle. It's hard at the top.
I'm not shy about it at all. Tim's being a douchosaurus. So, you know. Probably knew a long time ago he wasn't making this draft, and his little emoji on Slack, it's still a Lyft driver logo. So,
Right. Like, you know, and I say things like he's not allowed to drink at functions, but I know if we see him at Marcos's house, he'll be like, it's cool, don't worry about it.
yeah.
So,
It's brutal.
whatevs.
So, shithead going to be cut off from friendship duties. So maybe like a no eye contact rule or something like that, or
We'll do that. Remember, like, when you were in elementary school? Granted, I was usually, like, the victim of this, but I understand it. You know, where you're like, someone's trying to talk to you, and you're like, say Tim's trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
Do you
hey,
hear-
Robin, do you hear something?
do you hear the wind?
Yeah, it must be the wind or something. That's crazy. Like, that's the status we're rolling into. Only at football functions.
I'm
In
hoping.
personal life, I'm totally fine hanging out.
Yeah, no, agreed, totally.
But if we're at Marcos's house watching a game, or my house or your house, if we're in the Shedio watching a game,
I really like non-fantasy football Tim. I mean, he's a great person.
fantastic.
It's the Jekyll to his Hyde is the real problem. When he gets in that fantasy football area, it's just no good. He just loses all touch with his moral compass. He drinks heavily. There's lots of abusive words. It's not a good scene. And, you know, hopefully he can make a turnaround and recognize that there are people in this league that care about him and are willing to support him if he can, you know, right the ship.
Right. Can we think of like actions that he can do? Like, let's just say like the draft's out, like whatever.
Yeah.
What can Tim do as current president, as incoming president? What can we put on him to make things right?
Well, I mean, I think he needs to start by perhaps standing outside of your window, holding
Nope.
a box of beer
Nope.
over his head and
Oh.
singing.
No, I don't want that. he can just leave beer on my porch.
I also threw out in Slack like the kind of more traditional like shithead punishment, like stand on a corner in a tutu with a shirt that says, I suck at fantasy football and or no shirt.
I put this on Slack, and I think it probably came across as a joke, but I'm not joking. I feel like if Tim's not out of the draft, he needs to auto draft.
Ooh, that's rough, and that's another one that won't the Gedeliot won't let the Gedeliot rankings affect actual.
It does. I don't care. Gedeliot can say yay or nay. This is on you, Tim. This is on you. Do you want to make it right?
Yeah.
Do you want to make it right?
Yeah.
I'm not forcing you. I'm saying this is the way that you can make it right. Either make it to the draft, figure it out.
Drive Joe there.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Get the bat boy to hang out in the dugout, and
it's that or you could be like the How I Met Your Mother, like you're gonna get 3 slaps at fantasy football functions, and you're never gonna know when they're coming.
You know what's almost better, just because I don't want to slap people. I think what would be better. I propose that Tim, you owe me 50 push-ups.
All right.
And I can call any amount of those push-ups out at any time that we are around each other.
I like this. This is getting better.
So we could be grabbing a slice of pizza together, and I can say, hey, you know what, Tim, I want 5 right now.
Yeah.
Right? And then I have 45 left.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, respond in our Slack group if you're in. I feel like that makes it right. If you give me 50 push-ups.
Don't you think that's not a lot of push-ups?
If it's 2 at a time, wherever I want, that'll last a long time.
That's true.
But I could be like, we're at a party, and you're talking to a lady,
or
and
you'd
she's
be like,
into it, and I say, Tim, I want all 50 right now. And you're going to get all sweaty, and be a mess, you're going to have to take some breaks in between. It's going to be bad news. Who knows? I might just say, hey, give me 1. She's not looking, just knock it out real quick. And then you get up all, whatever. 50 push-ups. However long I want to wait. I mean, I could do like 48 this year and wait 20 years and see you like randomly in a city that we would never expect to see each other and be like, I need those last 2 right now.
And of course, you would have to oversee those push-ups to make sure that they were legal, proper push-ups.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. We have to be in each other's. I need to see them.
Yeah, well, and also make sure the form is correct. Some of them could be illegal. They might get called back and say, that one doesn't count against your tally because, you didn't quite get the elbows down to 90 degrees.
It's true. So that's my proposal, Tim. If you can't make it to the draft, you owe me 50 push-ups.
I like it. On top of the other sanctions to be dropped upon our...
But that's what I'm saying. Listen, you can make it right that way, and I might let you have a drink here and there at football functions. Maybe.
Yeah.
It depends on, this is on you, Tim, and Elliot, this isn't for you to step in. You don't have to deem this fair or not, because ultimately, unfortunately, what's happened is your word doesn't mean anything right now. I want it to, but it's on Tim whether he wants it or not.
Yeah. Agreed.
Or whether he's willing to do it or not. Let's talk about like actual football stuff.
All right. So, next thing, your team going into this year, what is your biggest need that you have to address?
Running back.
Got it. So, who are your running backs currently that you have on your roster?
I have LeGarrette Blount, Carlos Hyde.
Okay.
I think that might be it.
Okay.
So
both of those guys should be good.
Yeah, they should be all right. But I need
reports from camp say Carlos Hyde is in amazing shape and
but didn't get first string snap. Listen,
so
I was contemplating today. I was like, do I really want to keep him? But then I was like, his ADP is like 5th or 6th round or maybe even further. But then I was like, oh yeah, our league is jacked up.
Yeah.
ADP doesn't mean anything in our league.
No, Carlos Hyde would go in like the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah, so keeping him in the 3rd, I'm just going to do it. It makes sense. And then Blunt's like a 9th round or something, so that's fine. I don't feel it's no sweat. It's not. So
you need a true RB1. And what's your draft position in the 1st round?
9.
9. Okay.
There'll be someone there. It's just who
It'll
is.
be. You might have to decide whether you want to reach for someone that or because there could be a really good wide receiver slotted to that spot.
Right, and that's the thing, and ultimately, just because of us being a 3 wide receiver league and flex, like if there's a good wide receiver, although I really need running backs, there's still a chance that there are a few names that I probably won't go into that I wouldn't be able to pass on.
Yeah.
Like there's a handful of wide receivers that if they're there at 9, I just would be ridiculous to not take them.
Now, are you worried about T.Y. Hilton at all with this Andrew Luck injury uncertainty? Because he's a player that might be in that spot.
He is, and he's one that I kind of, because of this Andrew Luck stuff, I am kind of wary of. I think he was on my radar, and right now I'm not even thinking about him, to be honest. But we'll see who drops down. I feel like there's going to be a run on running backs right off the bat, aside from yourself, unless Zeke is there with a short
who knows?
suspension. Aside from that, like I don't see you taking running backs.
I would find it hard to justify taking McCoy or I guess DeMarco or any of those other ones over even over AJ Green almost. I value him pretty highly.
Totally. When he's healthy, he's a top 4.
So, I mean, in McCoy, you could make a pretty strong argument for being taken over, and
he's had so much injury history though.
If something were to happen and Zeke is gone for a ridiculous amount of time, it could be that I would end up with McCoy and a wide receiver or something like that.
That's true. That's true. But AJ,
which wouldn't be awful, but I would still prefer to have Julio and AB.
Yeah, no, I mean that's not a bad place to be.
So,
I mean that's like slightly ahead of my Odell Jordy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean both, and really any one of them could be that. Odell could be the number 1 wide receiver easily, and Julio and AB both could be.
Yeah, I feel like those
and
3.
Jordy,
I think AB is kind of like 1A.
Yeah,
but I do in my mind, and I don't think it's because I'm an Odell owner, but I do think like Julio and Odell are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah,
they're both like that 1B. You're gonna feel good with either one of them. Like either one could go insane.
Yeah, but I think that Jordy's got a great shot at being like the 5th overall wide receiver in terms of points scored. I think the only downside to him is just his age. He's getting up there,
right?
And traditionally, wide receivers lose a step, and something happens.
Although traditionally,
but he's got an amazing quarterback, so that kind of mitigates.
Well, and they
a
have
little
rapport,
bit of that worry.
And they have rapport, and I feel like they were clicking at the end of the season. They were getting back on that rhythm, and they have this whole off season.
Yeah. And he's in tremendous shape. So
totally.
So I don't think that's that big of a deal. And so overall, you've got what, 3 actual picks or 4 actual picks
3
that you're gonna 3. So you have a first rounder, a second rounder, no second rounder.
That's Jordy.
That,
I think
right.
I'm pretty
Jordy
positive. I have to look at pretty positive. I
and
have
then third
a
is
first,
Carlos Hyde.
I have a first and I have 2 fourths.
Okay.
I have a first and 2 fourths. I have a fourth and a fifth. I think I have 2 fourths. I think I figured out how to finagle my
so you're
way
gonna
into.
Take Steven Gostkowski in the 4th round.
I
to fill out your
listen.
team.
I'm gonna. I know the boys already said that they have breaking news in their podcast they recorded tonight. Breaking news. I am not going to draft a kicker.
Yeah, I don't think I am either.
I have a first
I may
and 2
not
fourths.
draft a defense.
I'm keeping Denver.
Yeah, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
But to me, I would have to take a defense in the 4th or 5th round, and I'm not sure that I want to do that over a player that could be good. And you've got. I feel like Seattle is due for a downturn,
right,
in terms of top available defenses, and I really don't hate the streaming defenses strategy at all. So
no, and basically, I think I'm keeping Denver like in the 7th, which is kind of insane. But talking about it again with this league, it's already nuts.
There will be a run on defenses in that like
There-
5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah, totally. But the main thing is the people I get in the 4th round with my 2 4th-round picks. I mean, it's as good as garbage in this league, kind of. Like, if it does good for me this year, great.
Yeah.
It's going to be... I don't expect to get someone that I'm like, oh, I'm keeping them 2nd round next year. Like, they're pretty much going to be one and done.
Mm-hmm.
So all my like, I'm going to butter my bread with free agent pickups and late round stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's how this league works. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to... I'm all right spending something in the 7th round because whatever I get in the 7th round probably won't be worth the 5th round next year, so I'm not
Most likely not, yeah.
really worried about it. I think the top teams in this league kind of year in and year out are the ones that can find that stuff late rounds or the undrafted players and hold on to them or fight through to make them work and have that longevity.
Yeah.
So
do you think based on that and what you've said about your running backs, you've said in the past, like, oh, my first-round picks haven't worked out or I haven't, needed them. But do you think that you actually need your first-round pick?
this year I really do.
Yeah.
This year I really do. I've I don't know. I've lost some talent. I had a pretty good stable of running backs previous, or Hyde was in a different world before. I think I need my first round to hit.
Yeah.
If my first rounder hits, I have a very good chance in my mind to get my 3rd championship.
Now,
But I think that is a big piece of it, because betting on my 4th rounders hitting is pretty tough.
Yeah.
And then even further, betting on a free agent pickup is tougher. And I have some pieces that are movable, but I have some like pretty immovable objects too that I'm not even gonna talk trades about. So
yeah.
it's a little silly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, say, for instance, at 9, you have someone like Leonard Fournette fall to you there. Are you willing to take that risk on a rookie running back in a position like that when you need a running back? How do you feel about these rookies being so highly ranked, so many of them?
Well, our league just destroys keeper value, first off.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd have to know what else was like off the board. Like I said, if Fournette is if Fournette is my best option at running back at 9,
mm-hmm.
that means that there's probably a top tier wide receiver sitting somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, unless someone's
Yeah, that probably
valuing
means
Fournette
that
super high.
Yeah.
Like that. Like in my mind, if Fournette is my best choice at 9 for running back, like AJ Green's still on the board.
Well, that or it meant that somebody took AJ Green instead of Fournette ahead of that. So it could mean that there was just a run on wide receivers.
They should. I just feel like in my mind.
I mean, I would.
Like,
I think you're fucking crazy if you take Fournette over AJ Green.
Totally.
That's absolutely
no,
bananas.
without a doubt. But people run running back heavy. Like I need a running back, but I'm also
you're willing to.
I'm willing to roll the dice because there's that Alfred Morris 2.0 Frank Gore that's going to be there like in the 7th. I mean, I'd take him in the 4th because that's all I have. But
You think-
there's totally a good chance.
I don't think Frank Gore is there in the.
Okay, but let me put it this way. In my mind, Frank Gore could have a comparable season to Leonard Fournette.
It's possible, yeah.
So I don't value Fournette that like honestly, I probably value. See, it's so hard to value because of the keeper stuff. So it's like any rookie or anybody on the outside taking them first round.
It's a huge risk,
It's a huge risk because they're done now. Like you can't use them anymore.
and you've never seen them play in the NFL.
No, and it's really like Fournette should be taken like in the 5th round, and then or even the 3rd to where it's like, oh, he's legit. Cool, I got another year of him.
Yep.
But like
people
that's where like
need number one
McCaffrey
running
should
backs.
sit, and he's gonna go.
That's
by
the
3rd
one
round.
to me that is the most baffling. I said that on the pod I did with Pete, that McCaffrey was the one that just scared me the most because of the situation. And you see good reports about him and how fast he is and he's uncoverable. But you've got an offense that had a quarterback that looked lost in the woods for parts of last year.
Well, he didn't have a safety valve.
Yeah,
and he didn't. I mean, think about what the drop down running back is for some of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like that safety valve is huge, and he didn't have it.
Yeah.
And when and especially when you're Cam Newton, you don't have that quick safety valve. You turn it upfield and then you get popped.
Yep.
And he's gotten popped enough times that now he's like wary and like, I don't really want to get hit.
Could
like,
be. And there's also Jonathan Stewart, who's still there. Who's an
and Big Thumper for sure.
Effective NFL running back.
But also, you also realize that there's now return points in our league also.
Which is why I think McCaffrey will go very high.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm almost like, and I'm not saying yes or no.
I just think he's a huge risk based on the offense and the situation.
And I think the same thing with Fournette. Like, that line is not fantastic. You know. Also, they haven't had a good running back in a couple of years. Like, T.J. Yeldon was their starter last year, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That scares me, too. Just like Blake Bortles, bad line.
Mm-hmm. Could be seeing, huge numbers in the box.
Yep.
It'd probably be worth looking at the schedule, too, in terms of the defenses they face and how they fare against running backs.
Yeah,
I feel like the Jags actually have a pretty tough defensive schedule.
Yeah, that sounds right. So basically, what I need to do and I haven't done. I know you already have, and maybe I'll coax you into hooking me up. I need to put the full run out of my ranking and then take off the board those keepers. We don't fully know. I think we have a good idea of who all the keepers are going to be.
I've done
teams.
it based on what I think value-wise people should keep.
Right. And I
don't know.
That, so
I don't have everybody's thing on there, but I just put it on there when I see, and basically all I do is I look at I'll take the Yahoo rank,
right,
the overall rank, and then I'll compare it to, subtract the keepers that I know are slam dunks, and if the Yahoo rank is, shows value at the draft position, I'll say, okay, they should keep that person. If you're like the fourth round is all of a sudden like 80th ranked players, 90th, 90 to 100 ranked players towards the back end of the fourth round. So even though it seems crazy, sometimes a pretty player you're not too stoked on would be a decent fourth round pick. The other part about it is sometimes you want to let the draft breathe a little bit if they're not a sure thing. If they're not going to certainly give you value, you might want to just give yourself the flexibility and say, I could probably take that player in that position anyway. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, no, it's a really tough. I mean, it's goofy. Our league is goofy. I mean, really, the strategy that has paid off for me, I've already explained, is the free agent pickups.
Yep,
free agent pickups. And to some extent, waiver wire. Last year, I was not as crisp on the waiver wire as I would have liked to have been. The year previous, I feel like I nailed it pretty well. But it's having those pieces to keep. And I feel like there's part of the league that sees how many keepers I have, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? But to me, it's like you talk about it's a hit-or-miss player. Mm-hmm. For me, anything past the 10th round, why not?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're going to get garbage at that point anyways.
Yep.
Why not get that piece of garbage that you feel might have a chance to go?
I'm keeping a couple of those. I'm going to keep Kevin White. He could be
He's not confident. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just could be anything.
I'm keeping Eric Ebron.
Yeah, I know. That's funny. If you end up with 3 tight ends, that's going to be funny.
I don't think I will. But then again, at the 4th round, there's a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if my boy Greg Olsen gets to me in the 4th round,
I don't think
there's no way he does. But if for some reason, somehow he gets there's no way that I don't take Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Like, I will for sure take Greg Olsen. I will break some news right now. I will not take Gronk at number 9. Really? No.
I was going to ask you that next.
No Gronk.
You wouldn't do that and try and.
No, Eifert's healthy.
Yeah,
I feel fine.
Okay.
I feel fine. I mean, his health risk is just as big as Gronk's health risk.
I mean, if Gronk's healthy all year, that could be the kind of devastating, piece that makes a team.
Yeah,
I mean, there's an if there for sure, but having that 20-point player in the TE spot is not a given. So,
what I really need, I'm going to be honest, what I want, like what I dream of, is Carlos Hyde getting traded somewhere where he is just like the clean and clear number one.
Yeah.
Like just a smash mouth team that has like a good offensive line. Like what if Zeke has like 8-game suspension and they trade and the Cowboys trade for Carlos Hyde?
That would be so stupid.
That would be.
I actually said that on Slack. I was like,
did you?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh.
this is what's going to happen right when that news came out that, maybe Carlos would be traded and, Joe Williams and that. And I'm like, just our league's luck. Carlos Hyde gets traded. Zeke Elliott gets, 7-game suspension. Carlos Hyde gets traded. And then Joe gets to also draft Zeke in the 4th round.
As my handcuff to Carlos Hyde?
As a handcuff to Carlos Hyde.
That'd be pretty sick. I would be so pumped. I'd be so pumped too, because in my like sick mind, I'd be like, I don't care. Zeke's going to come back and it's going to be a timeshare because Hyde's going to do so much work that they're like, well, we got to like still give him his touches.
Well, I don't know about that.
I not at all. Listen, I'm getting like overly optimistic.
Joe is fully erect now.
Speaking of which, Elliot put up the other day that this time of the year he just gets super doubtful and like worried and whatever about. And I think it's the same thing we've talked about on our disc golf podcast. Like there was a long time where I would get up in the box and be like, I'm not going to hit an ace. I think he's psyching himself out. This is the time of the year where I feel the most pumped about my roster and what I have. Like,
yeah,
I'm excited for the season.
Yeah.
It helps that I'm keeping 12 players, and
it does make it a little easier.
I know them all well, and I know that there's a handful of them that are elite.
Yeah, it does make it a little easier when you're keeping a lot of players. Like my draft board is the same. I have like 4 or 5 actual picks, and that's it.
Are you gonna be excited when we play each other and all of Terrell Pryor's points are negated by Kirk Cousins?
I don't have Terrell Pryor.
Oh, you don't? You turned him away? I forgot about that.
Pete has Terrell Pryor, which I'm bummed about because with this Jordan Reed thing, Jordan Reed goes down. Terrell Pryor is who I already think is going to have an amazing year.
Pete, you want to double dip? You want some Kirk Cousins?
Could be talking top 10 wide receiver for Terrell Pryor with no Jordan Reed in the picture. I know that's ambitious, but he's got all the tools, and he has a good quarterback.
You know what makes me the happiest about that scenario? That means Jameson Crowder doesn't get as much love, right? Isn't that doesn't Tim own him? And he was like, "Oh, number 1 wide receiver," or is that someone else?
Tim, I believe, does have Crowder. Well, it could be.
Maybe
it's Keizer. I don't know.
I don't care. I'm taking it all back.
No,
I don't know.
I think it is Crowder, but whatever. I don't think that Crowder is the number 1 wide receiver in Washington. So,
no. I mean, I don't care. I've got Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. No, that's a great pickup. I'd love to have Kirk Cousins.
And a healthy Russell Wilson. And I checked; they do not have the same bye week.
I don't know if I'm
pretty worried about that.
I may end up. It might be that I'm staring around in the 4th round and I'm deciding whether I want to draft a defense or a backup quarterback. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no reason to take a quarterback early.
No, there really isn't. But I don't have late picks, so if I was going to take a quarterback, it would have to be
right. I guess
the 5th is my latest actual pick.
Like I think I'm keeping Cousins like in the 9th, and Wilson in the 11th. So
yeah, that's how you want.
I'm okay with that.
I feel like you probably should roster 2 quarterbacks in our league, just because you don't have to, but
if you can purely, I mean, just to shit on the people who try to stream quarterbacks.
That too. I kind of agree. I mean,
I feel like people in our league have talked over the last years. I think wanting an IR spot or like more room on our roster, like flex roster or whatever. That's BS. There's so much room. We have so much room and flexibility. I've gone multiple seasons with players on the bench the entire season.
Yep.
It's doable. It's not that hard.
I mean, there are times when it's hard when you got a lot of players, and I know that sucks. But at the same time, it's not normal to be able to keep this many players in a dynasty league. A lot,
Right,
you know.
right.
So I think it kind of mitigates the fact that, if we had IR spots and other ways to stash players, it would get even worse. And our drafts are already stupid.
Oh, it'd be dumb. It'd be so dumb.
People that don't have keepable players are at such a huge disadvantage. It's not even funny.
And I think Keyser did a smart thing. Like, I'm not against the trading for your keeper, like trading for an IR spot, basically. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't gotten more weird. I think Keyser has finally realized that I'm just not going to go into an insane
do
trade
the
with
weird
him.
trades.
I haven't heard. He hasn't chatted with me about anybody in a long time.
Got it. I talk to him from time to time about various things. I'm not really big on the conditional trades and going out more than a year or two with draft picks. So I'm not really going to engage anyone in that sort of thing. So it's too much to keep track of.
Yeah, there's just so much variation in like how people value the league, like in the sense of keepers versus picks.
Mm-hmm.
Versus value, and how like it's pretty funky. So that's like the number 2 in this league is doing your best to understand how other people value things.
Yep, absolutely. Managing those relationships.
Yep.
Or not managing them like our shithead does.
Or like just managing a team that's not yours and pretending that you don't.
I mean that's one strategy. I mean certainly it makes it easier to manipulate other parts of the league if you are managing more than one team. Certainly, I could see that being very advantageous to.
Right. I mean it gets you into the playoff. Oh wait a minute.
I don't know who you're talking about, but
I don't either. But
I mean I imagine that person makes the playoffs a lot.
I imagine that person has at least one championship.
So, speaking of playoffs, I want you to tell me who are the 4 teams that make the playoffs.
I'm going to say myself. I'm going to say myself for sure.
As you should.
I think Tim has a good roster.
There's that big old bogey David Johnson that just takes a dump on everyone.
Yep, David Johnson, like barring injury to David Johnson, like that team is built on David Johnson.
Yep.
If David Johnson goes down, then playoffs are gone.
Yeah.
But he's just a young healthy buck. Like I don't see that happening.
Michael Thomas and Jordan Howard too.
Yep.
Some
it's a good team. So I mean, I think they make it. I think there are 2 people. Like, purely law of averages, Marcos should make the playoffs.
Okay.
So his team was really good last year.
Yeah.
But he had the worst luck for, like, the first 6 weeks.
He did, yeah.
The worst luck.
Yeah.
Like, one of the most
Even my team blew up against him.
Like,
and my team was terrible.
Totally. And then he just sold house. Which made sense at the time, but, just a couple points here and there, and he's rolling hard and keeping that team and going.
So
and now
you're winning the division, and Marcos is your wild card.
Yep. Sorry,
right.
Raven.
That's okay. On the pod I did with Pete, I didn't have you making the playoffs.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
So.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Well, surprise, 3 from our division. Brienne's up. No, I'm just joking. That's definitely not happening. She mortgaged her team to get second place.
Yeah. So you need to pick someone from the bad sports pun division.
So
Keyser.
Talking about bad luck
Hughes.
and selling a team too early, Keyser's really good at doing that.
Uh-huh.
I think Keyser should have made the playoffs every year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, starts people weird or gets upset, tries to make trades or tries to sell. I don't know. It's team management.
So you think there's a stability issue with Matt Keyser?
Yeah. I mean, he's had the
like
roster
an
to do it.
unstable person.
He's had the roster. I didn't say that. He's had the roster to do it every year, but he's not willing to like sit through the bad part of the movie. He's not willing to like sit through like the sad part of the movie. He just gets up and leaves and is like, I don't want any more of this.
Got it.
I want my money back. If
He went for it last year. He went all in, pushed all his chips in the table, and didn't make it.
yeah, but I don't think he needed to push that hard. Like, there's like,
He may not have.
I think that's where you go wrong. I feel like that's what has driven me to the playoffs the last like 3 years is just being like standing pat and being like, you know what, it's gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. I've had those moments. I mean, I got rid of Russell Wilson for like a week and scooped him back up because you weren't quick enough to swoop him. But I've learned from those moments of just being like, it's that law of averages thing.
Yeah.
It's like, and it worked out perfectly for me to lose the first round of the playoffs. And then, of course, law of averages, my team fucking goes off the next week,
Yeah.
which would have won the championship, had enough points to do it all, but wasn't there.
I know that feeling very well. I've had the number 1 overall team and lost in the first round of the playoffs. So
Yeah. So
it happens.
it's all good. I mean, I think that's the 4. But there's so much room. There's so much time to change. If people are paying attention, you can get there. I mean, I owe both of my championships to just that random pickup of Odell Beckham Jr. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I picked him up as a free agent. Right, like I think he like 2 weeks before he even came back from injury,
Yeah.
just because I heard like whispers and it worked out. Like I got super lucky. I hit gold. That can happen to any team in our league.
Yep. David Johnson for Tim.
Right. I mean,
You know,
it's not gonna happen for Brienne, but
Well, I mean,
she's not paying attention.
but somebody is.
Yeah, would you want to give her that piece?
No.
No. So, I mean, does some person who might be looking out for her
I mean,
want
maybe
her to have that piece?
You never know.
Probably not.
Could happen on accident.
I'm gonna be honest right now. As your friend, I think you and Elliot, in my mind, are pretty much out. Baby time is just gonna poop on you.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you'll get those like 4 a.m. waiver claims, like no doubt, because it'll be up anyways. That was my favorite part. Like the second year or whatever was like, I'm awake anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna claim this person and this person.
check.
Like I don't need to put any like not claims. Like I'm just gonna pick them up because
Yep.
no one claimed them.
Yeah, that will happen.
But
when I don't know that the baby will affect me that much. In
you're pretty
terms
good
of,
at it at this point.
Like my draft is fairly simple. I already done the kid thing pretty well, and if these things work out, I'll have an elite squad of wide receivers leading my team, decent quarterback, and my running backs. I have a lot of them that are kind of in that RB2, RB3 range,
right.
and I'm kind of just speculating that, especially like C.J. Anderson, I think with Booker now injured, is probably a lock to be closer to that RB2.
Dude, Jamal Charles he's got it back.
No, he does not.
He's got it back.
And
he's gonna
I
run
think
pretty.
Rob Kelly's going to be good, and
No, P. Ryan is gonna poop on him.
well,
P. Ryan is gonna PP on
I
him.
could draft him if I wanted to, if I was really worried about that.
In what round?
I don't know, the 4th.
Is your pick before mine?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't think I would ever draft him. I just wanted to say it.
But I don't know.
Who are you? I know. Okay, so say you get AB and Julio. What other wide receivers do you have right now?
Devontae Adams, Jordan Matthews, and then
You still have Jordan Matthews?
yeah, I do. He's still a productive fantasy player.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like
true.
for a bench wide receiver that I play in bye weeks.
that's true.
That's not bad at all. And then I have players that I need to figure out what to do with at wide receiver. I have Kevin White, Brashad Perriman, and Taylor Gabriel.
They'll get rid of Perriman is already injured again. Did you see that?
No, I think he's probably done. But very well may keep both White and Gabriel.
I would keep Gabriel.
So
White, I would pay attention to.
Well, White has the highest ceiling and the lowest floor. So White has the measurables to be better than all of them, but he also also could be out of the league like DGB.
Him and Perriman are the same measurables, and they both had a littered.
I thought Kevin White was significantly bigger than Perriman. Perriman's kind of undersized.
Is he?
Yeah.
'Cause, well, he was. I put it more in like in college, like super explosive, like
Yes.
mega talent,
They're both
but
very
raw
explosive.
as shit,
Yeah.
and injury issues.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So real quick, all right. I had this bet with Elliot before, so I want to bring it up again.
All right.
Well, we'll go three-way: Perriman, White, Diggs.
Okay.
Who has the best season?
I mean, I honestly, I would rather have Diggs than either of those two.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So, I would say Diggs, but I think that Kevin White has the potential to have a better season.
True.
But if I had to bet on it, I would bet on Diggs for sure. So, and you can't trust Elliott. He bet with me last season that DGB would have a better season than Kevin White, and DGB is not in the league.
That is true. That is true. We need to get bets going, by the way. So anybody listening to this, like, let's get some bets going. What is the bet?
Should we do a Four Loko on like season series for us or something like that?
Well, what if we split? We both have to.
We split. If we split, it would either be.
I think we both drink one. I don't think they negate. I think we both drink one.
Or playoffs would be a tiebreaker, something like that.
Oh, if you make playoffs?
Yeah, or if that playoff game or whatever it is, I don't know. I mean,
are we like our entire career? Are we like?
I don't know. Elliot didn't put that up on there, but I feel like we're probably close.
We're real close. You might have like a game edge. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
From like season 1, but I know we've split pretty much since I've been actually paying attention and knew what I was doing in fantasy football.
Yeah. Well, last year you went 2-0 because of that fucking Denver Phantom sack.
Oh yes, that's right. So actually, we might be even.
We might be even, or I'd say even you
might
have an
game.
edge.
Yeah, I might have a game. So let's go season series.
Because I lost a playoff game to you too.
Let's just go regular season. Regular season.
Okay.
So
and then points are the tiebreaker, like points scored in those matchups, like total points.
Well, no, because don't we only play each other twice during the regular season?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if we go 1-1, the total points scored.
No, I said we both have to drink a Four Loko.
Oh, okay, fine.
I think. Okay, here. This is what it is. Loser, if there's a clear loser, drinks a Four Loko.
Mm-hmm.
If we tie, buzzballs.
Okay, fair enough. And it can't be one of those goddamn Four Loko Frost. Fuck that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, do we want to go with like super dirty and just call them golds?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So gold for loser, tequila Ritas for a tie. Listen, that's gonna be. You're gonna be like, oh, this sucks. This is so good. I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts for the people? Future president, raining fire upon the league.
Let's bring the fun back. Like that's. I mean, we started
except for Tim. No fun for Tim.
Unless I gave you the challenge. If you accept it, then we're good. Then we're good, and we know it's fun, and we'll roll.
NFL stands for No Fun Livingston.
Right, and it's not Livingstons. It's one.
One Livingston.
Like Pete, you can still be fun.
Yeah,
but Tim can't because it's not plural.
He's the No Fun Livingston.
Like the no homers allowed.
Yeah,
like one homer can be, but not more than one.
Yeah.
No, like let's just have fun. And I'm gonna win again.
No, I'm not gonna let that happen again. I already let it happen once.
Twice.
Well, no, one of the times I could have specifically prevented it from happening.
Oh, that's true.
And I fucked up. The other time I didn't really
who do you think's gonna like implode the most?
Well, I mean, I think Brienne's team is going to struggle to win.
That's not implosion. That's just sucking for an entire year.
A game, like maybe 2 at most. I think you can lock her in for last place, no matter what. Just she's going to be. She doesn't have the early picks she needs and no keepable players. So definitely, in terms of implosion, I'm I said it, I think, on the last one, because if it's Implosion, it has to be a highly ranked team, so I'm going to choose Tim. Just because I do think he's got some players on there that, while good, they could have regressions. Maybe Jordan Howard has a little bit of sophomore slump, something like that. So
maybe like Trubisky hands it off to him horribly multiple times, and there are fumbles that go on him rather than Trubisky.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see
Maybe he drafts Trubisky and Jameis Winston and like 2 other quarterbacks to have a total of like 7.
Or he gets the 49er disease where there's an awful quarterback, so we stack the box and there's nowhere to run.
Yeah.
And unless you're Frank Gore, you're done.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. What else you got? Any last parting shots? Anything you want to take out on the league?
I think let's just have fun.
Okay.
Give me your money.
Gets me that cash.
And what do we got? 2 more years so the boys can actually drink with us?
Well, I mean, I think I had a beer with Pat.
Nope.
At Elliot's house.
I don't believe you. That's true.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Scott, you need to come out. We should. I really want at some point in the next at least 2 years.
I really need to shotgun a beer with Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to happen, right?
What if he beats you?
He might. I wouldn't be surprised. Dude's like 6'5" or something silly like that.
Yeah. Look, I still, in my old age, don't think he could beat me. I put that challenge out to you, Scott.
We're not all that far apart on beer shotgunning. Why would you think that?
Because I have confidence, Robin. Because I'm confident in my abilities, even though you're not.
I'm not. I
am.
I've never seen the man shotgun before,
Listen,
so I don't know.
I never stopped training. I maybe stopped working out and doing things I did in my.
Maybe I don't feel like bragging about shotgunning
my younger
a beer
days.
on a podcast.
Why not?
Just
I'm fine with it.
Doesn't
obviously
mean much. Like when it happens in real life, then it'll show.
I'm in.
Yeah.
That would be the most epic dynasty moment ever.
Just
if
like
we all just a big circle of shotguns,
and
just all of us shotgunning
Tim
together.
in the corner, looking sad.
No, he can shotgun too. He just needs to turn outside of the circle. Like we're all like looking in at each other, being like, "All right, let's go," and he has to be facing outwards,
like looking through a window. Outside.
Shotgunning in the bathroom, like looking through the window, like standing up on the side of the bathtub. Yeah, guys. Cheersing the air. Tim, make it right. That's my party words. Tim, make it right.
Tim, make it right. That's a good way to leave it. So, Pete's going to cut this up, put in some intros and stuff. Thank you, Pete, for doing that. Not so thank you for not showing up.
Yeah, we miss you.
So, whatever. Looking forward to the draft, and that's all I got. Good night, everybody.
Later.